Alrighty, everybody. It has been how long? How long has it been?
Another like 2 weeks.
It's been another like 2 weeks. The parts have finally come in. This is the most discombobulated video I've made so far. The spacers are finally in. What we found out was that on either side of the differential unit, there are spacers in each of the bearings, behind each of the bearings. You're only supposed to change one of them on the ring gear side. The other side is the original spacer. It's a different width than any of the spacers that you can buy, like the replacement spacers. That one's supposed to stay the same. So what we did was we bought like 10 different thickness opposite spacers, the ones on the ring gear side, and we're gonna test out each of those to see which one is gonna work with us, if any of them, because we did make a pretty steep jump down in size. Ours was so thick, it was spacer number 58. I don't know what that is in millimeters, I forget. We went all the way down to 12, 22, 24, 34, 36. So we've got a wide range of things. Hopefully one of them works out for us. If not, there's gonna be another jump cut because it's gonna take like another 3 weeks to get here. So fingers crossed. So this is what we're working with here. We've got the spacers for each of the sides over here, and then we've got all our new spacers. I'm pretty sure spacer number 2, if I'm correct, was the special one that needs to stay the same, so we'll put that off to the side. And as for this one, we'll go ahead and pop the new spacers behind this bearing, push it back in, and then install both of them. Well, we've also got to pop the spacer back behind this guy and install that one as well, and then see which one's gonna fit. Okie dokie, so I have pressed the, oh, it's not focused on me.
Whoa.
No, it wants to focus on you. It loves you so much. Lock it away.
Focus on me.
Okay, so I've got the bearing pressed into the one that goes behind the ring gear. So this one is gonna stay in here for a long time until we know which one we're gonna be using. Which spacer do you wanna try first? Here are your options.
Let's try this one.
Number 30, lucky number 30. Are you sure?
No, not at all.
All right, well, look at the numbers and tell me.
How much should we adjust it by as well?
Oh, fuckload, it's way too thick.
I know. Well, I'm just like seeing if it tells us exactly. Like,
Nope, doesn't.
Oh.
I checked. You know how for the pinion depth, it was like, oh, here, do some math, and it'll tell you exactly what you need, and we did it and it worked? Not this.
You know, if all these Russian hot babes in my area would stop popping up on this Russian website for the fucking differential manual, that would be very helpful.
Hot Russian mom singles in your area. Hot Russian MILFs in your area.
Hot Russian babes near Vladivostok in your area.
Hot Russian MILF for sale.
You know, I like how it doesn't say. That's pretty cool.
I fucking told you, just pick one.
Okay, replace the washer on the ring gear side, which you did.
Well, I didn't.
Or no, wait.
I'm about to.
You're about to replace it.
Right.
And we started at 58, which is 0.106.
Now, hang on, let's clarify. I'm assuming ring gear side means the side of the plate that the ring gear is on, not the side of the diff that the ring gear is on.
I'm just saying teeth facing it. That's what I'm going off of.
Teeth, this is the one we replace.
Yes.
Yes, that's
exactly.
what I'm at.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like
terrible
like,
assumption.
You know
Don't make
how,
that assumption if you're doing this at home.
You know how there's that like wall where the ring gear mounts to?
Yes.
I assume the wall is the
That's
divider.
the divider, right?
And
Not the
it's like-
center of the diff, the wall.
Even though it does, you know, because if it was the ring gear side closest to the ring gear, it would be the other one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I hope we're right. That would be.
It can't get worse.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. Also, I don't know that I mentioned this. We lost track of which one went on which side as soon as we took them off.
Oh,
so
yeah.
every test fit after the original assembly may have been wrong, we don't know. And we didn't know that the spacers were different thicknesses. Shaw had a suspicion that we should keep them on the right side, but this has been like a 3-month process. So we didn't know which one was supposed to go on the correct side until we took it off and measured the spacers. Now we know, which is helpful, but regardless, either way, the backlash is wrong. It's bad, so. New spacers.
And it only cost me $118 in just bearings.
That's true. We did replace 4 bearings.
Yeah. No, that was just for 2 bearings. It cost me over $250 for all the bearings.
Yeah.
Yeah. This diff is expensive.
Well, everything is expensive on this fucking car.
True.
But then again, we could have easily just left it as an open diff and
Died. Could've.
spun on the highway. Honestly, Chief, I say just
30
fucking
sounds
pick one.
alright. Let's try 30.
30 it is!
I love how we're doing this by braille. We're just like,
We are just figuring it out.
Sounds right, and then just throw one in and be like, whoops, it's huge.
Another quick thing I'd like to mention. The numbers on these, almost non-existent. You can't even see them. And that's not just because it's not in focus, it's because the numbers are barely written on them. When we pulled the original ones out, there were no numbers on them at all. We were expecting numbers because they're supposed to have a number relating to their thickness on it. The one for the pinion did. No numbers to be found. We were like, oh, well, maybe they wore off or something like that. I know that they wore off because the ones on the brand new ones are barely penciled in on them. It's terrible. So if you're ever doing this, don't expect numbers. You got to measure it with like a micrometer, and we don't have a digital one, so we had to read an analog one, and we're dumb, so that was hard.
It took me like at least 6 minutes.
6 minutes? Alrighty guys, so we've got the 30 installed right now, and what we're looking to do is measure the backlash. And to measure the backlash, you gotta get a dial gauge on this gear right here, and you gotta jiggle the gear, but our dial gauge sucks, and there's no point in using the dial gauge because we can't get this to jiggle because it's just too tight. Meaning that our spacer is still too thick. The 58 was too thick, the 30's too thick, but if we really try, we can get it to jiggle a tiny, tiny bit. So what we're gonna do is jump down from the 30 to probably 22, the low 20s, maybe 20, pop that in, and then we should get a jiggle that we can actually measure. Okay, so we've got news. The assumption that we made earlier that I said that you guys shouldn't also do, in that the ring gear side is the side that has the ring gear on it. Yeah, we were wrong about that, and the way we know we were wrong about that is we put the 22 mil spacer in, and it did not feel any different than the 32, and it should feel different than the 32. So we thought, well, it should feel different, and it's not, meaning we're doing something wrong. So we switched them, as we should have originally, because it turns out the ring gear side, if you just cut the diff symmetrically, side with the ring gear is the ring gear side. Now, it's spinning smooth. It still doesn't do the little shaky thing like it should for measuring backlash. But when we spin the pinion, it doesn't catch like it was before. And that's the whole reason we did everything. It's the reason we rebuilt the pinion. It's the reason we're fucking with these spacers.
It's the reason I've dropped about $300 in various bearings.
That's right. So, now that it's not sticking, we have to decide if we want to actually measure the backlash, because I'm really close to not giving a shit and throwing it in the car because it's not sticking anymore. What do you say, pal?
I think I will unfortunately be the voice of reason and look at it for maybe 10 minutes and then decide later.
Thing is, we bought a really shitty dial gauge.
It is terrible.
Very bad.
Mad terrible.
Very bad. We can't test the backlash because it doesn't do the jiggle.
Not yet, until we increase space with different spacer.
With the 12?
Yes.
You want to go mad loose.
Yes. Mad loose is the move.
Alright, let's do it now.
We were about to make an illegal U-turn. There's a cop right there. I yelled at Shaw last second, so we pulled into the fucking right lane just to make it look like we're fucking not making a U-turn. There he goes. Thank fucking God he's gone, because we don't have a fucking license plate on this car. Ooh, that was so fucking lucky. If he saw us do a U-turn, if I didn't see it and he saw us do a U-turn, he would have found out that we didn't have a tag and we'd be absolutely fucked.
That would have been bad.